How y'all doing today? My name is Ayin, and today's topic of discussion is going to be I can control me and my complaints. I can control me and my complaints. Now, when I'm thinking about this topic, or how I came to this topic, I'm really thinking about you kind of being in a spot in your life that might not be the most comfortable for you, and you're just really frustrated with what's going on. You kind of have let a lot of complaints build up about yourself. You might have complaints on other people or the way that they're doing things. You're just really in a frustrated spot in your life, and it just makes you want to, do something about it, but maybe you might not necessarily know what to do about it. So a lot of the times we take that easy path out of doing a whole lot of complaining, pointing the finger, looking at what's wrong, but not for the better. Looking at what's wrong and what people are doing to make this wrong for you or bad for you, and this may even devolve into having a pity party for yourself. But when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this from a healthier standpoint. Now, I go through the same thing as everything I just discussed here up off in this video, but that's when I've thought to myself, I gotta gather my thoughts, because I know that I can control me and I can control my complaints. So one of the first things that I do when I'm feeling like this, or I'm feeling complaints arise, is I look at how I'm in this situation, whatever it is. I'm looking at what I can control. Because like I've said in other videos, and I've said it in countless videos if you're a follower on this channel, no matter how big or small something is, you always got a degree of control in it. Even if a person is just talking about something that has nothing to do with you, it's just all you, and you find yourself getting frustrated with it, you still got a degree of control. You can determine okay, you know what, this is really frustrating. I really don't want to, be a part of this. I know what I can do the next time to avoid this. So you got a degree of control. You always have a degree of control. And even if it's not something that you can immediately control right then, it'll allow you to better forecast your future so you can avoid like those pitfalls of that. Or maybe it'll even aid you in setting some goals up to ensure that you're not a part of that any longer. So what I'm thinking about when I'm saying I can control me and I can control my complaints, I look at what do I have a hand in whatever it is that I'm frustrated about. The next thing that I think about is, what can I do to prevent me from feeling like this? What's something that's healthy for me, healthy for the situation? What can I do? Because if it's not something healthy that I can contribute to the situation, other than making it worse or throwing some emotion in it, because that's just the way that I feel right now, I don't want that. I don't want to go deeper down the rabbit hole or whatever it is that's going on. So what's a healthy way that I can handle it? Makes it better for me, so I don't have to look back on this in the future and apologizing for some things that's said, or maybe some things that's done, or hurt somebody's feelings, or whatever the case may be. What is a healthy way that I can do this? Sometimes people's feelings gonna get hurt either way, so you take that with a grain of salt. The key word here is healthy. So sometimes even healthy bothers people and their feelings are hurt. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is, when it comes to my complaints. Now, I've actually done a video on this channel discussing this in particular, about complaining and complaining with the purpose. Yeah, we all of us have instances where things come up and you just want to complain about it. One of the things that I realized about myself, and I realized this about a year ago, and it brought me up to do a video on this. When I thought about it, I was like, well, you know what? Sometimes when I kind of voice things out, whether it's with a family member or someone in there, it's like, it's good that I bounced it off, because then I got some resolve on how I wanted to do it. But that also had to do with me having a mindset behind how I like to tackle things anyway. And one of the first things that I like to do, if there's a complaint that I have, something I feel uncomfortable about, I like to have a resolve for it. And if I don't have a resolve, to resolve that complaint or whatever I have an issue with, I want to think about how I can do it. And sometimes it may have to come across my lips for me to say, hear it out loud and go, you know what I can do to resolve this. So there's always the intention of wanting to solve whatever that I'm complaining about. That's me personally. And that's, like I said, one of the topics that I wanted to get across to you all. And like I said, there's other videos on the channel. You can put in complaining or complain on my channel and see what comes up. Like I said, I've done videos on that. So with tackling these two issues, I can control me and I can control my complaints. If you're not going to do anything about it, why complain? You have some people that's like that. You have some people that when they complain, they're just really wanting to vent or let off some steam in that instance, but they have no intentions of changing anything about the situation. They're really fine with it. They're just, blowing it off. Now, sometimes what you may have, sometimes you may deal with an individual, or you may even do it to where you're complaining because maybe you're trying to get some courage up to do something up about the situation. Maybe it's something that you need to do, but you just really hadn't found your courage to say what you need to say. Like I said, and all of this is healthy, or do what you need to do in a healthy manner, and you're kind of talking about it, and you're just kind of trying to talk yourself into it. That's even different because you're trying to have some resolve. So knowing what you can control and you're complaining, you want to use this with discretion. Because people, you have friends in your circle that will listen to you, and sometimes that old saying is really true. A lot of the times it really is true. Misery loves company. But misery loves company for only so long. Meaning, people will eventually get tired of your complaining. Especially if it's something that not only you know, but they see as well that you have a hand in preventing. It just gets to a point where a person's just like, even if they are holding their tongue, they're like, why don't you just X, Y, Z? And then you don't have to deal with this anymore. And really what they're telling you and reading between the lines is, I don't have to hear about this anymore because I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm sick of this. Bring those two things to yourself. Bring those two things to the table when you're thinking about stuff that's upsetting you, bothering you, things that are repeat. What is my control? I have control up off in it and the purpose behind my complaint. And it gets back to the topic of this video. I can control me and I can control my complaints. Use discretion when you're doing these things. What's a better way that you can do these things? You may even have to write down some alternatives. That's not a bad idea. I talked about that in another video. Remember I had something I was trying to choose between doing? A friend of mine told me, hey, you can write down a column, positives on the right hand or left hand side from doing whatever it is you're doing, things that, may not be as positive or may not be in your best interest on the right hand side. Sounded really corny, and I don't remember if I actually did it where I really sat there and went into deep thought on it and just kind of vividly, mentally jotted down a few things, a couple of things on one side and then the other, and then the answer was right there before me. Or because I don't know if I really wrote it down, and like I said in another video, I don't know why I would have felt any type of way about it being corny writing it down. It's not like I was getting ready to go and advertise the list to people, look what I did. But it did work, it did help. But I do know from people that's off in my circle, some of those things, some of those very basic things, it does help you in arriving to a conclusion on something that you may need to do. So don't hesitate on writing it down, chalkboard, even putting it in your phone. I've done that. I have resulted to doing that a lot with writing and putting thoughts in the phone. Helps out, okay? That's just my 2 cents on it. In the meantime, if you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on my other social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. This is where you're watching the video. Check out the links in the description box. I wrote a book, I Ain't Kilimanjaro's The Arithmetic of Family Communication. You can get the book on Amazon in a paperback or an ebook copy. And until next time, stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged. I'm Ayin. You have a good one.